Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ijoma Fab. So today I'll be showing you how to make this monostrap blouse on the screen. So I have my fabric cut out here. So I have a detailed video on how I drafted and cut out the monostrap blouse. So please kindly watch the first video in order to understand this video. So I have the front panels here, and I also have the back panel here and my lining. And for this blouse, I'll be adding a peplum to the lower part of the blouse. For the front panel, I've gone ahead to add my lightweight interface called wadding. I also did that to the center panel and also to this side. So for the center front, I also went ahead to add a hairstay on the neckline for stability or firmness. So for the lining panels, you could choose to add an interfacing called hairstay or paper stay, but I wouldn't be adding any interfacing on my lining panels. So the next thing to do is to couple the panels together. So for the front panel, I'll be attaching this to this panel. I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch. I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be attaching this to this center front panel. I'm going to start from down because this is a princess cut. So you need to start sewing from down all the way up. So after joining this, I'll repeat the same thing on the front panels of the lining. So for the back panel, I'm going to take in my dart and I'll repeat the same thing on the lining. So once I'm done coupling this, I'll show you how it looks like. So after coupling the panels together, this is how it looks like. This is the back panel, this is the front panel. So the next thing to do now is to work on the neckline, and this stage is a challenging stage. So stay tuned to understand what I mean by a challenging stage. So at this stage, on the back panel, we're going to place the lining right side, facing the right side of the fabric, sew up the neckline, notch and top stitch. So after this, you flip your lining to the wrong side and you could go ahead to close up the side. So after this stage, the next thing to do now is to work on the front panel. So the front panel is the most challenging stage here. Front panel, I'll be showing you how to properly line the front panel. So you're going to take your lining, you're going to place the right side of your lining facing the right side of your fabric. So instead of sewing on the neckline, just like we did for the back panel, we wouldn't be sewing the neckline first. So for this, because of the cutout, we're going to work on the cutout first before we sew the neckline. So you're going to place your lining right side facing the right side of your fabric, just like this. Then after placing it properly, you're going to sew with 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. After that, you notch, you top stitch, then give it a good press and flip inwards. So I'll go ahead and do that now and work on the back panel and show you how it looks like. So after joining with the lining, this is what I have for the back panel. I also went ahead to close up the zipper allowance. So I have the front panel here, and this is how it looks like after sewing up this cutout and ironing. So I'm going to show you how I flipped it in. So this was how it was before I gave it a press. So after sewing, I went ahead to notch, I top stitch, and once I was done, I took it this way and flipped it inward like this behind. So after this, I went ahead to give it a good press. So the wrong side of your blouse or the inner part of your blouse should look like this. So bear it in mind that the neckline also should look like this. So this part is open. So the next thing we're going to do now is to finish up the neckline. So to finish up the neckline, you'll be needing your bias tape. So I have my bias tape here. I'm going to place it this way and I'll sew up to this point, to the end here. Then once I'm done sewing, I'll flip it inwards this way and finish it up. So after I finish up the neckline, I'll be joining the front and the back panel together and close up with the seam allowance I have. After I'm done with that, I'm going to attach the peplum at the lower part of the blouse. So once I'm done attaching the peplum, the next thing I'm going to show you is how I'm going to finish up the armhole. So after closing up the sides and attaching the peplum, this is the back view. And this is the front view of our blouse. So the next thing I'm going to do is to finish up the armhole. So I'll be finishing up the armhole with a bias strip. So I have this bias strip here, just like the way I did for the neckline. I'll place my bias strip this way and I'll run it round the armhole. Once I'm done, I'll flip it inwards and match it round. So that's how to tidy up or finish up the armhole. So I hope this video was helpful. Please like, share and subscribe.